Hey fellow world dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today we are talking about combat food. So the type of food that can help you out if you are struggling, let's say with the raid, what can you do? And I will cover both herbivores and carnivores in this video. So for a particular part, I will put a timestamps as well, timestamps, so you can jump directly. And first, let's start from a little bit of the basic that applies to both and not everyone knows about. So what's the easiest way to get recipes and some of the complicated food items that are not easy to craft? So let's cover that first. There's couple vendors. At first we go to White Spring North entrance and we are heading into the White Spring Mall. Inside, just run straight and we are looking for a chef that is selling some of those rare recipes. Running in here, and that's the chef. It's called Antoine, and if you trade with him, he's selling a bunch of recipes and those are randomized. So if you hop the server, it may have a different recipes. Some more rare, some more common. Next, we are going to the neighborhood part, so White Spring Resort, main entrance and refuge. And from White Spring Refuge, we are running to the left, the main corridor to the kitchen, take left. And in here, there is no particular vendor that you can see, but if you take a seat on this chair or any other chair, the vendor will arrive and offer you stuff. Just sit and wait, it takes like 15 seconds usually. And there it goes. Mr. Waiter is coming around. Mr. Waiter is selling rare food items. Oh, I'm actually buying this one. So rare food items for carnivores and herbivores. So all of that you can purchase in here and as well randomize if you server hop. The third place we are visiting is Nuka World on Tour. In here, just turn around and you can purchase some food items from Betty. And those are not randomized. This is fixed, always the same. Some very useful ones, but those are for carnivores like rat scorpion, kebab with really high energy resistance, and you don't need to craft. You can have some extra strength on extra agility, super cheap. So that's where Betty is selling. Unfortunately, she covers only carnivores. And the last vendor you basically place at your camp. So it will be your own private vendor, the last one. If you do not have it, you will need to purchase a plan first for this particular vendor. You will find it it's still before updates, so allies. If you'll be checking after updates, that will be a different name, but the same. Will be, I think, dwellers in here. So the name of the ally is Yasmin, and Yasmin's cooking stove, that's what you place to get this vendor at your camp. If you do not have this vendor, you will need to travel to the crater and the crater core, and then from the gold bullion vendor, you will purchase this ally. It's quite a lot of gold bullion, but it's worth it. So this ally, not customize, interact, we need to talk with it, talk about cooking option, opens you a trader menu. I don't know why it's hidden under cooking option, but that's the trader menu. She is selling rare food items from carnivore and herbivore category, so depends what you will roll. It can be one or the other. Like this is very good for max AP for herbivores. That's really good for carnivores melee builds. Could actually purchase some for later. As well as recipes, some of them rare. Similar situation like other vendors, the inventory is customized each time you hop a server. So changing servers, you can revisit all those vendors and see if they will have what you actually need. So each server hop, new items, with exception of Nuka World on Tour, this one is fixed. Every other vendor is randomized inventory. And if you wonder how you get recipes without doing that, it's usually like doing events. Random events on the map Most of the herbivore recipes is inside the forest area, so you see event icon, you can do it and you have chance to get some kind of a recipe. The point is, this is a slow method doing events, but free. Hopping vendors is way faster, but you need to pay caps, so that's the difference. Now, the herbivore food. So the food related to combat. The most powerful for herbivores will be Blight Soup, offering 125% bonus to your crit damage. 30 minutes duration. You can craft a food that will last longer, but recipe is a little bit more complicated. So what I'm crafting if I want a longer duration buff is sweet mud fruit tea. This one is 1 hour, the same amount of bonus to crit damage, and that's as well the one that we'll be using for carnivores, but that's in a second. Those are requirements. Starlight berries is the rarest one. You will find them in the deep, the highest amount of starlight berries in the deep. If you never visited, the deep is in here. Additional entrance is near the White Spring Lookout, but this other entrance is unmarked. Brain bombs, normally I would talk about them with experience factor, but with the recent changes to first aid and how it's boosting stimpaks based on intelligence, it's as well a combat buff now. If you need a full crafting guide how to mass produce brain bombs, you can check out my guide for experience foods, the older one. It's still up to date about mass production. The easy one with a little bit less intelligence is brain. Fungus soup doesn't require any special ingredients. Only common. Easy perception boost that you can get from your camp. A lot of easy buffs for herbivores, which is the biggest upside. Just cook a carrot for carrot soup by perception. The boost for luck, so boosting your luck that usually required when you try to use power armor and criticals. Unfortunately, it's only Charlie's feet for herbivores, nothing better than that. Free luck and a lot of ingredients, plus you can only purchase this recipe from Graham when there is cookout during the summer going on. So that can be a problem. Can be as well purchased from players if someone is still selling Charlie's feet recipe, so you have a chance. But other than that, that's it. Company tea. It's a buff that regenerates your AP, like basically 25% of your total AP bar per second, which is insanely good for herbivores and mostly produced at your own camp. If you don't have the item that is producing it, visit some other players' camps. There is a lot of players giving away company tea as the kettle is producing way more than you need for yourself. To increase your resistance, unfortunately there is nothing really good for regular ballistic resistance, but you can increase your energy resistance if you go for fire cap tasty souffle or regular fire cap soup that is way easier to craft but shorter duration and less resistance. This one is a little bit more fancy as you need additional pepper and salt in addition to fire caps. Fire caps mostly can be found in forest area. If you need a lot of action points, you can use infused sweet flower tea, but it's hard to craft. You can get half of those action points by just crafting a regular tato juice. So tato juice is 25 and you only need tato that grows at your camp. It's very similar situation with your agility bonus. The mud fruit juice will give you extra free agility, which is not too much. You can go for improved option with 5 agility. If you cook steep melon blossom chai, but again, quite a lot of ingredients to get it. In case of those improved buffs, I recommend just hopping vendors and buying them with caps. It's generally faster method, and from time to time vendors do sell those improved drinks. There is no higher bonus than 5, unfortunately, for herbivores. If you need to boost your max health, tato salad. Again, one problem with this recipe, only available during Graham Cookout as event reward. Other than that, you can try to buy it from players. Maybe expensive as we are far away from this event. If you will not be lucky, unfortunately there is no good replacement. There is one other buff It's called pumpkin pie, but only gives 40 health. The good thing about it, you can find it for free in the world. There's a couple places where you can find a pumpkin pie, and most popular for that will be inside Pumpkin House, as you could guess. Inside Pumpkin House, you can find some free ones. So that's what recommended to do. Go there, get some free ones. And that will be everything you can do as a herbivore. A little bit better situation in case of carnivores with its slow drawback. Like as a herbivore, you are winning in category of crit damage and AP regeneration. Everything else is better as carnivore, if you wonder. So carnivore food, and that's kind of a food paradise in here because most of the stuff will generate for free at your camp, assuming you have those food generators. So one of that is Deathclaw Slow Roaster. It was sold in Atomic Shop. You probably can still get it. A lot of items in Atomic Shop you can access through a support ticket if you didn't purchase them during the time they were available. Then Pemmican Producer, Pemmican Collector, that's Season Pass item from previous season. And lastly, Mylux Stima. This one is again Atomic Shop items. So mostly Atomic Shop items to produce the stuff. If you don't have them, you can still cook most of the buffs. So let's go over what's available. And similar situation to other food buffs, a lot of them can be purchased from vendors. Now, for the intelligence and therefore healing from Stimpaks, thanks to new first aid with today's update, Bronze Scourge's Brain, very important to boost your healing. 8 intelligence, you get it by slaying Scourge Beast and cooking. So easy recipe. The same if you need easy luck boost, you can just slay Scourge Beast or cook the liver. 8 luck to help you out with criticals every other shot. There are additional boosts that last for longer, we'll cover them as well, a little bit more complicated recipes in that case. Cooked softshell meat for extra 50 AP for 30 minutes. It's being generated in Mylux Stima, or you can cook it from Mylux. Cranberry Meatball Grinder, that's the ultimate health booster. 100 extra health for you. The recipe is quite complicated. You need a lot of Scourge Beast meat and cranberries. I mean, medium complication. It's not the hardest one. Plus spices to craft it. Alternatively, you purchase it from vendors. Deathclaw Wellington, so for strength buff and some melee damage buffs. That's a different category. I think melee people know already what to get. For us, we carry on with other combat buffs for like mostly range. Worth to mention here, Fastnacht Sausage is the same amount of health bonus as Cranberry Meatball Grinder, so that's alternative. Radroach on a Stick, easy agility boost because that's a very cheap item you can get guaranteed at Nuka World on tour, so no cooking required. But if you want to cook it, it's just salt and Radroach meat, lasts for 1 hour, 8 agility, what translates outside of being more agility to 40 extra action points. Guana Soup, that's alternative to luck boosters. I'm not using it personally, but it's here. Simple Mylux Jerky for 38 regular damage resistance from the Mylux Stima, or you can cook it yourself. Rat Scorpion Filet and Kebab for 88 energy resist. Very good energy resist buffs, last for 1 hour. This one is relatively easy to cook as well. Both can be purchased from vendors from time to time, so most likely you don't even need to cook anything. Rat Scorpion Steak, that's the cheapest version with a little bit less energy resistance. And another option, Rat Stack Stew, doing the same thing, so you just choose one, as you cannot stack them on top of each other, of course. Only one energy resist food will work, so that's another option. This can mostly be produced from your camp items. If you have Rat Stack Meat Producer, you can do lots of Rat Stack Stew with a little bit of spices. The luck boost I'm using, Seared Venison with Berries, quite often can be purchased from vendors, as well as crafting recipe, relatively simple, as you can get lots of Starlight Berries inside the dip. And this one lasts 1 hour 30 minutes, that's why I like it. The duration is very long, so you don't need to remember to keep taking it all the time. Stingwings 2, that's a nice perception boost. I don't really need huge perception very often, so I'm only using that when I can purchase it from vendors. I'm not really crafting, but I'm buying from vendors whenever available the Stingwings 2. All type of tasty food like mutant hounds 2 and so on with melee damage bonus 200%. Great for melee builds. There is multiple of those. The best source, buying from vendors. Wolf ribs is the simple perception boost, easy to get, as you just cook wolves. And you probably noticed in Carnivore section of the buffs we didn't cover yet any crit boosters or AP regen. That's because Carnivore version for those do not exist. But good news in here, drinks that are normally from Herbivore category do still work if you are a carnivore, so you can still use them. There is no bonus. So for herbivores that would be 125% boost. For you as a carnivore it's 50% extra damage. Still good. Extra crit damage is still good. So that one lasts for 1 hour. This is what I'm crafting. I have a huge supply now. Sweet mud fruit tea. That's for your criticals. That's your critical boost. And for AP regen, we have company tea. And now it's 10% of your total AP per second. So even though it's 25% for herbivores, it's still the most powerful AP regen for carnivores. There are some items from carnivores category that gives AP regen, but even if you are a carnivore, they weaker. So company tea is what we are using for our AP regeneration, and it's produced at your camp, so that's additional convenience. Therefore, with all those items, you can go strong into any combat scenario. You just have them and remember to use them. I like the 1 hour plus durations that are quite common for carnivores, so you then don't need to remember all the time about popping another food items. And this is everything for this particular video, all the buffs for carnivores and herbivores, that conveniently for carnivores most of the stuff is being produced at your camp. I have this nice selection of my camp producers that are bringing me stuff. I hope you have some too. If not, just visit some other players' camps if they don't have them locked up. And that being said, thank you a lot for watching and see you all in the next one.